Welcome back to the Cumby Show. We tell like it is and we don't care how you feel. And what the fuck was that? 63-3. Georgia dismantles Florida State. Like Florida State wasn't even on the field. I don't know who Georgia played because FSU didn't show up. Largest margin of bowl victory since the last time Georgia did it last year against TCU. This was ridiculous. This was a joke. This was not college football. This was absurd in every way, shape, form, however you want to look at it, think about it, talk about it, listen to it. I don't care. This was a joke. Now, don't get me wrong. I understood the situation FSU had found themselves in, and I felt for them. I've said all season long that I thought FSU should be in the playoff, even after the playoff committee made their selection and left FSU out. I thought that FSU should have gotten in. I even made a video about it. FSU got done wrong. They got done wrong, plain and simple, in my opinion. But this is not okay, regardless of the situation. FSU going undefeated in ACC conference play, winning the ACC championship, getting left out of the playoffs, players being pissed off and then opting out of this game. I don't care what the situation is. This is a problem. This is a huge fucking problem. Now, also, don't get me wrong. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm a Georgia boy. As you can see, go Dogs, baby. And I love seeing our seniors that are declaring for the draft get to go off on a high note, go off on a win and not a loss. Kendall Milton, Carson Beck, because Carson Beck is coming back, but Kendall Milton, Lab McConkey, Brock Bowers, like all the players, Georgia greats that have given so much to this university. I'm glad we got to see them go out on a night like tonight. But, I mean, if you're FSU, man, what the hell is this? This is unacceptable in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I do not care. 63-3. It's not like Georgia went out there and played UT Martin or the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. No, this was FSU, bro. And you got your ass cheeks spanked. Unacceptable. And I don't care. Like I said, I understand the situation that FSU had found themselves in. I agree. I would be pissed off. I would be furious. I am furious for FSU, and I'm not even an FSU fan. But, and don't get me wrong, I also expected Georgia to win. Go back and watch my preview and prediction of this game. I took Georgia to win. I even said that it wouldn't surprise me if Georgia wins by 21 points. It went from 14 to 21 points. If this line crept up to over 21 points, I'm still taking Georgia and to cover the points. But I was not expecting 60 points. I was thinking it was going to be like a low 40, high 30, like 38-43 to 3 type game. Georgia winning around like 30-ish something points. Not 60. Holy hell. But I want to say this about the game. As much as I loved what I saw for Georgia, for the Georgia program, for those seniors, they get another win and they become the most winningest senior class in Georgia program history. I'm glad for all those boys. I'm grateful for everything they did for the University of Georgia as being a fan. As much as I am so happy about that and ending the season on somewhat of a positive note instead of that sour taste in my mouth from the SEC championship game, I mean, this is unacceptable if you're FSU. I mean, this shows a huge culture problem at the program of FSU, regardless of anything. And if any of those players that sat out should be ashamed of themselves. To sit on that sideline and watch your boys get ran through like this. I commend the players that had the balls to put on some pads and go out here and play this Georgia team with a half-ass roster. I mean, that quarterback, that third-string quarterback, Brock Lim, basically didn't have a chance. But give him credit. I mean, his numbers were horrible, but give him credit. He suited up and he went out there all game long and played as best as he could. And like I said, this is a culture problem for the university, or the FSU University, in that football program. Because look at it this way. You had Georgia versus FSU. Neither one of these teams wanted to be here. And I can see both sides. I could see why FSU didn't want to be in this game. I've stated it clearly in this video. I've even made a whole length video about it. Georgia didn't want to be in this game either. Georgia is coming off back-to-back national championships. They just won 29 straight games in a row. They just dismantled the SEC. Especially the SEC East, they have just made a laughingstock of all of their rivals. Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, I mean, you name it. They've done it. And then they lose by 3 points in the SEC championship game to Nick Saban in Alabama, and they get left out of the playoffs. And anyone with half a brain could sit here and tell you that Georgia is one of the 4 best football programs in the country. There's no question about it. Georgia didn't want to be in this game. But look at how Georgia, this coaching staff and these players, approached this game compared to how FSU did. Like I said, I understand the situation that FSU found themselves in. I get it. But Georgia wanted to go out there with a chip on the shoulder, looking for vengeance, for blood. And I mean, they completely dominated FSU in any way. Those boys went out there to win that game and to play. Regardless of what happened, regardless of the circumstance they found themselves in, the situation they found themselves in, regardless of whether they think they got cheated out of a spot of the playoffs, none of that mattered. The only thing that mattered was getting this win for this senior class and getting this win to bring back home for the fans, for the coaches, for each other on that team, because that's what it's about. And yes, it's about winning championships and being the best of the best. I get all that, but that's what it's about. And this can only hurt FSU moving forward. Like, you mean to tell me right now that a bunch of 8th graders, freshmen, didn't look at that game and be like, what the heck? Why would I want to go play there? I'm telling you, this could be a very bad thing for Florida State moving forward. And Mike Norell needs to figure this shit out. He needs to correct that culture in that program, in that building. And he needs to correct it fast, like yesterday. I get him being pissed for being left out. And I understand him wanting to take actions to potentially leave the ACC, because ESPN and College Game Day, everyone basically just told him that the ACC is a joke. We don't respect you anymore. So I get them wanting to get out of the ACC, especially even with all the money issues that they have going on. But the way that it was handled, the way that it was done, you've got so many other people in the locker room, so much distraction, so much noise. It was a shit show from the start. And it was not handled properly. And that's on Mike Norell. That's on the head coach. And he needs to get this figured out, and figured out quick. I hope he can, because, I do like the Noles. I like the program. But this almost became unbearable to watch. Not really, because I love seeing all the touchdowns. But, you get what I mean. It's like after a certain point, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'd basically stopped watching halfway through the second half because it was over. This game was over halfway through the second quarter. End of halftime, it was like 40-something to 3, and I'm like, okay. I was with one of my good buddies who went to FSU, who's an old fan. He's just like, this is a joke. Because it was a joke. Brock Glenn, I just want to read you these numbers real quick, because it doesn't really matter what numbers, who got who, stats. But Brock Glenn was 9 of 26 for 34.6 completion percentage, 139 yards, 2 interceptions, and 0 touchdowns. Gunnar Stockton, Georgia's backup quarterback, had a better completion percentage and 2 more touchdowns than Brock Glenn. Now, I understand Brock Glenn didn't get a single touchdown, but Gunnar Stockton had 2 passing touchdowns with a better completion percentage. Georgia's backup quarterback. So this wasn't just like all of Georgia's starters whooping FSU. This was majority the backups. I don't know. Like I said, I expected Georgia to win. I expected Georgia to win pretty easily, but I was not expecting 60-point victory. I just wasn't. I'll be honest. I was not expecting that. Big culture issue. FSU needs to get it figured out moving forward, and they need to get it figured out fast because this can't keep up. That's ridiculous. What a joke. Nonetheless. Georgia just fucking wipes the floor with FSU, steamrolls through them. Like they weren't even there. FSU didn't even show up. 63-3. Go Dogs. Over and out.